welcome back to Getting to Know You with John Metz. I have a special guest today, Mary Krolikowski, who is a member of St. Catherine's Parish, and she's the first interview that I'm doing with someone from St. Catherine's, partially because I am trying to get to know people, and I don't know as many people from St. Catherine's. And so I've been working with Mary on the Facing Racism Education group, and I thought she would be a great first interview for the St. Catherine's portion of Getting to Know You. And there is a hope with this video series that the cluster parishes can get to know individuals from each parish so that we can continue to build our bridges. So I'm delighted to introduce Mary. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good morning, John. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm very pleased to be with you today.
Excellent, thank you. So like I said, I've gotten to know you because in my mind, you've been a champion of the Facing Racism group. But my first question, what I would like to ask you is, for people that haven't had a chance to meet you, tell us about you, anything you want to say about yourself, and then, possibly something that people don't know about you that would be interesting for people to hear.
So I am a recently retired nurse. I'm enjoying my retirement time and finding new ways to engage with my parish community, but also the community at large. I really enjoyed my nursing career, and I keep doing little bits of it, such as being part of the health department's team to call COVID people in their homes on a daily basis. But I've also been able to dedicate a significant part of my time to parish projects, including Facing Racism that you talked about.
Where were you a nurse?
I did a good portion of my career, about 17 years, in neonatal intensive care at St. Joseph's Hospital. Oh. Then I taught for Alverno College in their nursing program, doing the clinical rotation at Children's Hospital. And eventually I was hired by the medical college to work in pediatric cardiology research at Children's Hospital. So I actually retired from Medical College of Wisconsin.
Well, that's amazing. We might have met before because I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital, and so were my kids. That is quite a career. I had no idea that you had worked in all those places. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
And then my other follow-up question was about you're making COVID calls. How has that been? That must be a challenging experience.
It's really interesting because COVID is such a new disease that we know so little about. And I call people who are ill with COVID in their homes. So I hear from them, because it's telephone contact only, a wide variety of symptoms that they struggle with, and also the questions about, are they ready to go back to work? What about if they have lingering symptoms? Who do they contact about that? And so it's a real eye-opening experience for me. And of course, people like getting the calls because they like it that somebody's concerned, but I also love it because I get to know people who are in a vulnerable position at that time.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. The two thoughts I have are, one, how confusing this time is. I'm sure people appreciate any kind of guidance. Like, I feel like there are so many unique situations where can I do this? Can I do that? I ran into this person who might have had an exposure. I think people have so much unknown, and it's scary to them. I also think what you said about people being in such a vulnerable place. I mean, I think nurses often have that privilege, I would say, to be with people, to kind of walk that journey with people when they're in a vulnerable place. And I think, in my opinion, it takes a special person to do that. So again, thank you. And and thanks for your continued service after retirement. That's pretty great that you're doing that.
Yeah, it's very little, but it's something.
Yeah, no, that's great. My second question, though I've asked you other questions along the way, is tell me a little bit about your faith and then your parish involvement. How you're active in your faith these days.
Um, so faith is always a journey. I find that I find God in unpredictable places. Um, for example, I sail with a crew on the big pond, and even though I'm the only practicing Catholic supposedly among the crew members, I always find such goodness there and even inspiration. And that's a place that I find God. And in my neighborhood, which is not very Catholic, I also find God in generosity and in people who show real mercy to each other. One family um, where a man has kids from several women, but the women are working together to take care of those kids, and make sure that each other gets to work on time and stuff. And there's such mercy there. And so I see goodness, and that's part of my faith. The other part is community life. St. Catherine's is such a welcoming and faith-filled community, in a different way from how St. Sebastian's is. St. Sebastian's also has, wonderful people and great community, but St. Sebastian's is perhaps a little more restrained in how they show it than St. Catherine's is. So, the community is important to me, and to have those kinds of supports where we share our faith life, where we share what we think the gospel is saying, um, in coffee clutches or in comments to each other or in what we do together with various committees or whatever, is really supportive to my faith. And then there's the facing racism, and I felt that, well, it was Michelle Ortiz Hansen from St. Seb's who got me into this by encouraging me to register for Unlearning Racism at the YW in 2019. And then I found that other people in both parishes were talking about problems of racism in Milwaukee. And so it was not I, but the staff from both parishes that realized that perhaps we needed to get people together from both human concerns and Christian formation to look at this. And so I've been privileged to be part of that group. And then I've helped organize the group starting, I guess, in May of this year, when we increased in membership after the murder of George Floyd. So what I see for myself and try to communicate is that for people who are white and have white privilege, it's a matter of transformation of ourselves, which is a continuing conversion process for myself, wondering, okay, what is a person of color's perspective on this that I am just oblivious to,
Right.
as well as finding ways to act as allies. So I guess that's our challenge at this time.
Also, the interruption part.
Yes, yes.
Uh, there's so much that you just said, though. It's so good. Thank you for sharing that. I, um, I I want to just address a couple of things. What you said about the community of St. Catherine's, I want to say first. I have had the privilege to go to Mass a few times at St. Catherine's, and I feel that sense of community the minute I walk in the door. It's very clear that everyone is uh, that is the home to the people that are the members of that church. And in addition, I'm really struck by the commitment to justice at St. Catherine's. I've been talking to some of the people connected to the St. Vincent de Paul community there, and it's really inspiring. It's been very good, and everything that you said about racism and privilege, I think I just want to echo that too, because I think it's important, and it's something that the definition of your privilege means you don't have to think about it. And so for people that live that, it's important that that we make that choice to enter into that dialogue. And so so thank you for your leadership in that. I have found that inspiring also.
Thank you.
Um, Also, there's a few initiatives that Facing Racism is taking on right now with education and awareness. Mary, can you talk a little bit about what some upcoming things are?
So we've just embarked on the Just Faith and Racial Equity module. It's an 8-week course we're doing on Zoom. And as the title, Faith and Racial Equity, implies, it's looking at ourselves and how we fit into the process of bringing racial equity, racial justice to our society. But a smaller initiative, particularly for people who don't have 8 2.5-hour blocks of time to give to it, is a local initiative that's the Facing Racism group is going to present on Tuesday, the 17th of November, I believe, at 6:30 p.m. So it's again a virtual event with 3 short video clips and a discussion afterward. And I've seen the video clips, and they're really, really informative and kind of fun also. So I'd encourage people who are interested in a brief look at racial equity to tune in for that. John, of course, is the contact person, so just send an email to John indicating your interest, and he will get a link out to you for that that presentation. What's it called, John? I forgot the name of it.
It's called
How We Got Here.
How did we get here? Yeah. And just if anyone's interested, email me at jmetz@stsebs.org, and I'll get you on the list with the invite. So thank you. My last question for you is just a very open-ended question. What are your hopes for the future, either for the parish of St. Catherine's or for the world in general?
Well, that's a big question.
I know.
You know, I guess I don't have specific hopes. There is a phrase from Margaret Wheatley's book on reflections that says to me, in times of chaos, dig your feet into the mud and keep pressing forward. And, you know, I think that God is guiding us, and we just do the best we can. One of my favorite things is all of life is experimental, but let's keep the experiments going and see, you know, how we can use our energy in whatever way God wants to harness us. And God will make things work in the end as she wants.
I think that's good. I love that Margaret Wheatley quote. That's wonderful. Yes, and let's keep moving forward, right?
Correct. Under God's inspiration, you know, we're called to be prophetic. We're called to move. Let's not get stuck in the mud. Let's just keep clawing our way along and be prophetic.
Yeah, that's good, because you know what, right now a lot of us feel a tendency just that we are stuck and we're not moving anywhere, and so the encouragement to keep pushing forward, I think, is totally necessary right now. So thank you, Mary. I appreciate you giving us time this morning to talk, and just thank you for your continued leadership and wisdom. I truly have found it very refreshing, so thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, John.
All right.
Appreciate your invitation.
Absolutely. Blessings on your journey. Have a good day. Thank you.